Hello, everybody. Welcome to Auric League. We are here with the winter tournament, and right off the bat, we have Dirty Mike and the boys going up against Team Porcelain. And it's a very exciting matchup. And starting off the night, we have the nurse on Coal Tower. And right off the bat, we have the cosmetic clipping into the screen and a very unfortunate hit from Rezi, going to be leaving him a little bit vulnerable in the side of the map, and a very quick down from Ender. Very well played so far from Team Porcelain on the killer. Meanwhile, Dirty Mike and the boys, that is going to be a generator that is going to be interrupted on the bottom side of the map. And Rezi's going to get hooked near instantaneously. Very good start for Ender. And that is going to be a blink over to patrol the generators. But Ender does not see any survivors. Instead is just going to kick the generator, applying that eruption to the gen. A swing and a miss from Ender, going to leave him a little bit vulnerable, but he's going to go straight back down towards that hook and pressure any unhook. But because of the speed of that down, Ender has quite a bit of wiggle room to play the pressure game, trying to get tags and apply that eruption where he can. He's doing a pretty good job so far of pressuring the survivors off this very important middle gen. A tag coming through onto Heck. That's going to be very, very important down the road. That's one less person that can go for the save, but the save does come through even though that happened. That is going to be a chase down the side towards the bottom of the map. We have the shack, but there is Rezi kind of caught out, and some blinks coming through, and Ender getting a very quick down, proccing that eruption and going immediately for the pickup. And that's a decisive strike, going to buy Dirty Mike and the boys some time. Rezi instantaneously going to be using that lithe for distance, but stays near the bottom side of the map. Is not going to give Ender any wiggle room towards that top side to pressure even more. And Rezi just kind of comes towards the corner and is going to die edge map. Ender being very patient, going to hold the blink until it is necessary. That is going to be a down. And that's the decisive strike used in the second hook stage at 5 generators. Porcelain has to be feeling pretty... I stand corrected, 4 generators. Porcelain still has to be feeling pretty good about this result so far, though. Ender playing extremely well on the nurse. Going to be blinking towards that middle generator that still wasn't completed due to that eruption, and a tag coming through onto Pallet Tour Guide. That is going to be crucial. That is 2 survivors now injured, which means that they are very unlikely to go for that save onto Rezi. Meanwhile, that eruption is getting placed across the board, going to buy Ender so much time if a down is able to come through. I don't think they can safely work that middle gen due to this hook's positioning, but they're still going to go for it. The survivors are in the area, and Ender's just pressuring the survivors and the hook. That's going to be an unhook and an instant tag onto Rezi, kind of negating that for the people play. Rezi, in a very vulnerable spot, is just playing to survive around the coal tower here, the water tower, and is running straight towards the bottom side. We do have this Godrock filler going to buy Rezi some time, and he's going to make quite a bit of distance while that middle gen finally pops up in the top of the map. And a good prediction from Ender, going to secure that down onto Rezi on the pallet. Is there a survivor nearby to save? There is not, and that's going to be a death at 3 generators. Very well played from Ender so far. Being laser accurate with those blinks, just not giving Rezi any room to make it to a valuable death spot. That is going to be a blink onto one of the injured survivors. We do have the question mark survivor. I cannot say that name to save my life, but that is okay because they are in chase. Ender going to be chasing them towards the top corner here. Going for a Z wall play, but a very good fake is actually going to leave Ender in fatigue. And now we are playing around the corner. Yet another Z wall, going for a bit of a mind game. And it does work. Ender going to get that down. But rather than picking up, Ender's actually going to leave and go down towards the bottom side of the map where all the generators are. Going to be hoping for that very limited dying light value to kick in. One of the generators does pop, but that's going to give Ender a lot of information as to where the survivors are. They have to get out of there. And there are the scratch marks, and the spies from the shadows going to be selling the location of Heck. And Heck's going to make their way towards the hill here. Going to be playing for that balanced landing hit. Ender kind of falls for it, though. Going to be swinging and missing yet again. Meanwhile, question mark guy is going to be picked up. Ender going to be running around looking for a blink, and it does look like Heck is playing this really well, but is going to eat a tag. Very good blink from Ender. The blinks are recharging at this moment, and it does look like Heck is just trying to break line of sight. Goes for a double back, and it almost works, but Ender with the second blink is actually going to get that hit and a down. It does look like the other survivors were busy resetting in the meantime. And it does look like only one of them is on a gen. And that's going to be that dying light still in progress. With a second stack going to be lessening the speed of that generator. Ender trying to go out and pressure these gens is going to find a survivor with the power of that spies from the shadows. Very strong perk on a killer like Nurse who can instantaneously use that info. Meanwhile, Heck is going to get unhooked by question mark guy and is going to be healed extremely quickly, which could hint to the other team that there's a perk like Will Make It or Botany in play. Ender's going to be looking around, going to be finding a survivor. That's going to be Palette Tour Guide here on the modified jungle gym, and that's going to be a run away play. Going clear across the map, trying to get as much distance from that progress gen as possible, so maybe a teammate can go and work it. Going to be playing around this pallet gym and is going to drop it, but the failed blink actually working in Ender's favor, going to result in a tag onto Pallet, who vaults straight into him. And the single blink down is going to be very valuable for Ender, as he's going to get that eruption proc along with the auras. Going to be finding the survivors in the area, that spies from the shadows confirming it, and they're going to be running straight down towards the bottom side of the map, away from the slug, away from the progress gen. A bit of a biblio blink there, not going to result in a hit. Very well played from question mark guy. Going to be playing around this tile yet again, and that is going to be the pickup on Pallet. And one thing about Dirty Mike and the boys is that these resets have been extremely well played, and a very good prediction there from question mark guy. Going to leave Ender on the wrong side of the pallet. Ender going to have to get that eruption proc, going down towards the survivor in chase. Meanwhile, Pallet Tour Guide is going to be healed to full. A bit of a biblio yet again, not going to result in a hit, but it does look like question mark guy's luck has run out. Going to be trapped in the corner. And as the blinks recharge, Ender's going to try to go for an M1, but due to the geometry here, it's going to be quite difficult. Going to go for a blink and a hit. And Ender's going to be chasing them. Going to go for a safety blink. Kind of gets lost in the sauce, though, due to the micro fakes there. Very well played from our Claudette player as they run towards the pallet gym yet again. A bit of a fake misdirection and some safety blinks going to confirm this down, proccing that eruption, delaying that generator even more. But we do have two generators being worked on now. That's going to be a bit more difficult for Ender in this situation, as he has to be aware of two gens. But one of those generators Ender knows is being worked is going to be blinking straight there, with the spies from the shadows gaining a lot of information on their whereabouts, where they are headed. And Ender's going to be chasing them straight up the map. I stand corrected. Ender's actually going to not chase that. Instead, going to be applying that eruption to that generator. Is not actually going to be pressuring that main building generator. Instead, is going to be running back towards the unhooked. And it does look like that was a deli play. And that's exactly what Dirty Mike and the boys needs, because this is going to cause a lot of pressure. Ender has to go for the injured question mark guy here. A very good blink, though, is going to lead to a pretty quick down. But is that down quick enough? Is that final gen going to pop? We do have that dying light just slowing down that progress ever so slightly. Can Pallet Tour Guide finish this generator before the nurse is able to get there? We do not even see a terror radius indicator. We do have the terror radius is hidden. And it does look like Pallet's going to go for the pop, and that is probably going to be a down as well. All the generators are completed. Heck still up healthy on the map. Going to be playing for that save. The save coming through. Question mark guy is now loose on the map. And Heck is probably going to be playing for that slug pickup as the Claudette gets chased here. We do actually see Heck, though. This is very vital information that our killer has gotten. Is going to be playing around the line of sight break, but Heck is going to be winning that 50-50 there and making quite a bit of distance. Ender cannot afford to chase this, is instead going to go straight towards the injured survivor who was in this area looking for maybe a pickup, maybe the door. Either way, that is going to be Spies of the Shadows revealing the location and getting some very vital information here. But Pallet Tour Guide's going to be picked up in the meantime by Heck. And that's going to be extremely difficult for Ender at this stage of the game. 3 survivors up and running around, pressuring these gates. We do see a crow off in the distance. No spies to assist with that, but that is still going to be vital information. With a vault coming through, we do see a pretty big blink, and it's not going to matter because they are in this locker. Pallet Tour Guide getting plucked straight from the locker, but that is going to result in outs. Despite the very early tunnel out, it does look like Ender was unable to get as much pressure in the later stages of the game in order to convert this into a 4K. So very well played from Dirty Mike and the boys. Ender played extremely well at the beginning, but they were just able to kind of abuse the fact that Nurse's map mobility is not the best and get some vital macro plays with those generators. So please do stay tuned. We are going to have another Nurse game coming up. League. We are here with Porcelain versus Dirty Mike and the boys. And we have the Porcelain survivors going up against Heck on the Nurse on Cold Tower. And last game, we did see the survivors for Dirty Mike and the boys get outs. So we're going to have to see whether Porcelain is going to be able to keep up that pressure up against Heck's killer. And we do see that Spies from the Shadows getting some pretty quick information very quickly. Going to be playing around this tile, but that is a quick tag onto Smokey. Smokey going to be running towards the edge map and conceding the death already. But Heck is going to have to play around this geometry, just bloodlusting on the Nurse, going for a blink. And, ooh, Smokey is going to go down after some time, but he did actually buy quite a bit more time there than I thought originally. But it does look like our survivors are still running around. Not a lot of gen pressure on the board. Meanwhile, Smokey is going to be toted down towards the basement and placed on one of the meat hooks down there. And Heck has a pretty good start. Is going to get his blink eaten by the basement wall, giving us a little nodders in disapproval. But Heck is going to be trying to pressure these generators, going over towards the hill, and that is going to be the ruin. Getting some of the progress away from that generator. Heck playing around the basement on this hill. Going to be trying to go for these all too important tags in order to deny any unhook potential from survivors. But it does look like that perk, that Spies from the Shadows, is just getting so much value here. Heck going straight for the survivors. Bucketman in the area, going to be eating a tag to the back, going for that save. And a very good down onto Bucketman in the basement. But now Smokey is just playing for his life, running up towards the same exact tile from earlier. We do not see where he went. Heck is confused, cannot find him. We are going to see the blinks come through, but oh, we do actually find the Spies from the Shadows, revealing the location of Smokey. Oh, a very good dead hard coming through from Smokey. Going to be gaining much more distance towards the top side of the map. That is going to leave Bucketman hanging out in basement. During the meantime, the chase is going to go around this edge map. That is going to be 2 generators popped in response. And some very good plays from Smokey, going to be delaying this chase as long as possible. And finally, that will be the down and the rehook. And so far, a little bit different from the game last game, where the start was a little bit more on the killer's side, but Heck is just doing an incredible job getting that second stage there at 3 generators. Meanwhile, the ruin is now gone, and that is going to be 1 less perk for Heck to play around. But now with this middle hook, that is going to be some problems for the survivors. It's much harder to get an unhook in that hook, and it's much harder for the tunnel out survivor to make it to anything from that middle open area. So we're going to have to see what they are able to do there. But it looks like Heck is trying to get that pressure, looking around at the different generators, trying to find the survivors that might be creeping in the area, trying to pick up on any rotations. But so far, Porcelain have kept the info leak to a minimum, even with that Spies of the Shadows. I spoke too soon. There is going to be some Spies info showing Heck that they are in the area. He's going to be patrolling that area looking for a survivor. I wonder if they're going to have a double save. No, we are actually going to see the Bucketman come through here, trying to get that save. Is going to go for a body block, but it is not enough. Is it enough? We're going to see the save finally. Smokey is going to get plucked off that hook. Bucketman going to be on the ground yet again, and Smokey's going to be making a bunch of distance towards the top side of the map. Going to be, ooh, and that is going to be a balanced landing play. We actually saw 2 exhaustions on the survivor, going to be getting some distance away from the top side of the map and down towards this area where the generators have been popped. And that is going to be a very well placed blink and a very well placed second blink, going to be getting the down onto Smokey. Meanwhile, 2 more generators have popped. and Bucket Man still lays on the ground. Heck's trying to pick up as close to Bucket Man as possible. The pickup does come through. And a full heal on top of that. That is an incredibly quick heal. So far, the survivors are looking good. The death coming through at one generator is going to be a little bit different from last game. And it does look like Bucket Man is going to vault and run away, trying to lead Heck towards the top side of the map, playing around this tree extremely well, getting the dead zone blink and getting a lot of distance. Heck realizes that he cannot spend too much time in this chase, is going to be breaking away, finding a survivor on the bottom side of the map. But we do have such an excellent gen split from the survivors by Porcelain. They are playing extremely well today. They are hot off the presses of another tournament. And it looks like they are all warmed up the way they are playing. They are playing phenomenally with the macro. And Smokey took forever to get tunneled out. But that is going to be Contra found around this rock. A bit of misdirection going to lead to the blinks missing. And getting a lot of distance onto Heck here around the shack. Contra making quite a bit of distance towards this hill. Going to be playing around these rocks. Trying to deny as much info as possible. Getting some very crucial line of sight blockages. And getting a lot of distance on top of that. And that's going to force Heck away from yet another chase. That's 2 chases that Heck has had to leave. And now he's going back to pressuring this middle generator. We do have the generator up in main. And it looks like Heck is trying to pressure it. Does manage to miss the blink into the main building. But is going to double blink up there. And finds the survivor. I believe that's Bucket Man up at the top side of the map. That's going to be a chase around here. Very well placed blink, though, from Heck. Going to be leading Bucket Man straight towards the bottom side of the map. And that distance is going to be crucial. That is going to be another blink onto the hill. And the second blink coming out. And Bucket Man is going down, leading to the eruption proc on that bottom middle generator. But it does look like CEO and Contra have dispersed from the area. They're trying to get to the different ends of the map. But there it is, that spies from the shadows giving some crucial information on the rotation for the pickup. Heck trying to find the survivor that spies snitched on, but cannot seem to find CEO. But CEO finally gets found, going to eat a tag, going to be vaulting that window and making as much distance away as possible. The one blink, can the second blink be enough? It is going to be enough. That's 2 survivors downed on the bottom side of the map. This could be a 4K snowball. We do see the crow, though, giving away some information. It was just the slugs. And right now, we actually see Contra trying his best in order to get the generator done. Is going to be placing a blast mine on that generator. That is going to be the generator completed. Contra going to eat a tag and then play around. But it does look like Bucket Man saved his UB and picked up the survivors. This could be a very similar result in the end. Contra going down, but the other 2 survivors are now up and ready to pressure these doors. This is an incredible play from Team Porcelain. A bit of a bug here on the killer, unfortunately. That is going to be a little bit less information that we're able to play with unless a chase starts. But we do see Bucket Man opening this door. Meanwhile, the nurse... I can assure you the nurse is not just blinking in front of the hook. It is a glitch. But it does look like CEO's trying to play for the save here. Is going in, trying to pressure the nurse. Oh, but the pickup off the door coming through, that is going to lead to the unhook. And the survivors are still going to try to play for these outs. But they are both injured and probably running away from this area of the map where the door is complete. Heck knows that he has to pressure it, though. So far, so good, though. The survivors are splitting up perfectly, trying to split his pressure, but a single blink going to leave them vulnerable. Meanwhile, the Bucket Man uses Deli, getting straight out of that situation. That is going to be CEO on the ground. Meanwhile, Heck is going to be just blinking back and forth, nodding nopers. and is going to get that pickup onto CEO. Meanwhile, it does look like the survivors have chosen to leave and take their stages out. Very well played from both teams. Heck had some incredible blinks, and I think the survivors macro game was phenomenal that round. But we do still have more matches coming up. It's going to be an exciting night of Dead by Daylight, so please stick around. Thank you all for watching. We will be back soon. here with Dirty Mike and the boys going up against Team Porcelain. Team Porcelain had an amazing match, just barely squeaking out a win in the nurse set in the first match. But now we have Rezi playing the Plague for Dirty Mike and the boys, and that's going to be Porcelain playing Survivor. Let's see if they can keep up that momentum from the first game. And right off the bat, we see Rezi puking on the gens on the top side of the map. Pretty standard Plague macro here. And Rezi's going to be looking around for any survivors, and the cross is not actually going to get Bucketman on the infection. That will be an infection and a tag, letting Bucketman go down towards the bottom side of the map. And Rezi is going to go back towards pressuring those topside generators. Does actually catch two survivors off in the rotation, going to be going for an ambitious puke. Is not quite going to land it, but we do see Contra in the area going to be infected as well. That's two survivors infected pretty early on, which is extremely good for Rezi. And Rezi's going to be looking around, puking on these generators yet again, trying to get them infected in order to slow down any progress. Rezi wants those survivors injured and infected. And that's going to be yet another infection, all without working on these generators on the top side. And Rezi's just getting a lot of pressure, getting those injuries for free with very little in the terms of gen pressure to answer for it. And that's going to be Rezi just still looking around at the top side of the map, trying to protect this 4-gen spread. And it does look like that is going to be CEO trying to pressure Rezi away from that choke point, trying to get him towards the bottom side of the map in order to maybe divert his attention and get some rotations going. CEO going to be running towards the edge jungle gym here, going to be getting two vaults off, and he's still not fully infected, but this could be an infection here. Going to be playing around the pallet, greeting it, getting that last vault off. We are going to see Bloodlust too, and at this point this could be the injury onto CEO. CEO playing this extremely well. Oh boy, does get body blocked from the pallet. That's going to be an infection and a down. An unfortunate misstep from CEO, not getting that pallet drop quite quick enough. That down does come through, and it does look like our survivors are pressuring those topside generators, but it might be too little too late. They don't have very much in terms of gen progress. And Rezi's going to get to the topside with that agitation, and is going to be looking for the survivors who he knows have been working the generators up here. And as if Rezi's day could not get better on this killer, that is going to be the Corrupted Purge right there on the top side of the map. Perfect setup for him to get this power going, and this could be a snowball. Rezi playing this really well, going to be applying that eruption and going for a Corrupted Purge, but it's not quite going to land. CEO going to be making distance towards the bottom side of the map, does eat a tag, but that 10 seconds of endurance is going to let CEO make even more distance with the speed boost. But unfortunately, it's not enough. That's going to be a pretty quick redown. The pickup coming through, no flashlight save in sight, and we do actually see a generator pop on the bottom side of the map. But as we can see from where Rezi's taking him yet again, he does not care about that bottom side of the map at all. He is allowing the survivors to just do those generators freely, knowing that this 4-gen top side is much more valuable. And this generator up here is extremely close to popping. If it weren't for that eruption pop, it might be done at this point. So very well played from Rezi. Going to be using that second power that is also on the top side of the map, trying to catch out any survivors in the area, looking for any rotations. And this is a pretty advantageous hook. It's very easy to cover, and it's also easy to pressure this generator that has so much progress. Meanwhile, the survivors are content to try to get those generators on the bottom side of the map done as much as they can, trying to get that valuable progress. I mean, generators are generators, and for all they know, in their match, they could spawn a 5-gen top, so might as well get the safe gens out of the way. Meanwhile, CEO is going to be camped here, probably to death. This save is extremely hard to get, and Rezi is not worried about any of the other generators popping. And with CEO's hook timer counting down to 0, that is going to be a kill at 3 generators. But Rezi is in the area trying to get a down with the Corrupt Purge while it's still up. And unfortunately for him, I guess fortunately for him, there is yet another Corrupt Purge pool in the area. And he's going to get power really quickly and cuts off the rotations as well. Rezi going for this, does find a survivor in this locker, trying to bait out a head-on. But a very good patience coming through, but that is going to be the pick up onto Bucket Man, proccing that eruption on that top side generator yet again. And Rezi's going to be dragging this survivor towards the middle, trying to protect that 4-gen. We do hear quite a bit of progress here on this bottom side generator, but Rezi does not seem too concerned about it. Is going to be chasing the survivor in the top side of the map. We do have this extremely safe main building going to be milked to all it's worth. And the survivor here is playing extremely well. I believe that's Contra. Just breaking line of sight, not letting the Corrupt Purge do anything. Meanwhile, that topside generator did get finished. So that is very good for Porcelain. But Rezi's going to be straight back here, trying to protect this hook. And trying to get that generator down on the bottom that has a lot of progress to decay down to nothing as well. So very advantageous spot for Rezi at this moment. I believe the survivor's probably on one of those topside generators trying to pressure it as we speak. But Rezi's content to just sit here on this high progress generator and the hook and try to get as little progress on that generator as possible while also securing this down from our 2 survivors who are injured. This is where Plague's strength lies. They are not able to reset unless they give Rezi that power, which we've seen him make extremely good use out of so far in this game. So it's very unlikely that they want to give that to him. That is going to be the second stage secured on to Bucket Man. And Rezi's actually looking down towards the bottom side of the map, spotted out a survivor earlier, and is going to be trying to play for a down here. And we do have Smokey in the area, going to be dropping that shack pallet, playing it extremely safe and trying to run away. Meanwhile, I wonder if Contra was able to get this hook in time. It does not look like he was. That is going to be Rezi returning to the area and knowing that he can camp this out. But I would imagine that Contra's somewhere on one of those topside generators. Meanwhile, Smokey is here in the area going to be pressuring this unhook. Just playing around this hook to make sure that Rezi does not go towards that top side of the map. And that's extremely smart. But Rezi is going to go straight back to that hook. Is super scared of an unhook in the last second. Is just watching Bucket Man dangle there. Meanwhile, we do actually see that topside generator getting progressed by Contra. Very well played. But now Smokey has to get out of here. That death is going to come through after that generator is popped. And it looks like Rezi is probably going to try to go for another down before the survivors can rotate. That is actually, Rezi's actually leaving that progress generator, is going to go pressure the topside generators, knowing that that main building is there. They can buy a lot of time. We do see Contra hovering the main building, going to be playing around it. No vault in sight, a bit of a misplay from Contra, going to lead to the down. And now with Contra on the floor, we're going to see Smokey just cranking out that generator, but I don't think enough progress was there. Smokey has to leave. Smokey's running towards the shack. That shack pallet was dropped earlier, and this looks like it could be a 4K1. Rezi played this macro game incredibly well. That was extremely well played, just identifying that 4-gen at the beginning and playing around it. And it does not look like the death spots for Porcelain were as ideal as they could have been. But Smokey's going to try to milk this last chase for all it's worth. Maybe gets to rotate around the map and pick up the friend. We've seen what people can do in those M1 chases, and Rezi is trying to go for some mind games here, but it's not quite going to happen. That's going to force the God Rock drop and give Smokey some room towards this pallet gym. This pallet gym could allow for a rotation towards the top side of the map, but a bit of a fake. Actually, Smokey going to be playing around this jungle gym over here on the side, going to be dropping it extremely early and kind of zoning himself back towards the bottom side of the map. We do see a hill, and that is going to be a balanced landing play, but with no resources in sight, is Smokey even going to make it towards something he can use in order to get distance? The pallet gym is here. Smokey does not make it. Smokey tries to go for a spin, but it is not enough. And now Rezi has to play Slug Collector, going to find the slugs on the ground, sees a crow off in the distance, is going straight there to try to pick up Contra. Contra, though, not in this area. I'm not exactly sure where Contra is, but Contra doing a good job of hiding. But with that break, we are actually going to find Contra on the bottom side of the map here. Smokey not able to pick himself up. But with this hook, I believe Contra is on his first hook. It does not look like a hatch play is in question. Rezi is going to secure the 4K1 for Dirty Mike and the boys. A very achievable result. I believe, you know, play can get a 4K1 or stages usually on this map. And we can probably see whether Porcelain is going to be able to match or beat that when they play Killer coming up. Rezi doing a bit of humping and puking on the hook, securing his victory and securing the mental victory as well. Going to be hitting some moonwalks on Smokey as well. Twerking up against him. Just giving him the business. This is sportsmanship right here. But yeah, Rezi playing that macro game extremely well, and a bit of some missteps coming through from Porcelain, but it did look like they had it where they wanted it until that death came through on that progress generator bottom. Very good play from Rezi to hook there, using the power of that agitation in order to get that incredible value. Doing little donuts now, getting the puke everywhere. I would hate to be the entity's janitor, having to clean this stuff up. But yeah, Rezi playing extremely well. Porcelain also playing well. The 4K1 result with that kind of 4-gen at the beginning, not too bad. And it's probably going to be manageable coming up very soon. So thank you all for watching. We will be back with more Dead by Daylight gameplay here at Auric League momentarily. Hello, everybody. Welcome back to Auric League. We are here with Dirty Mike and the boys going up against Porcelain. And last game, we saw Rezi for the boys playing the Plague, getting a 4K1 result for his team. And now we're going to see if Contra on the Plague is going to be able to match or beat that in order to see what happens with the tiebreaker. So right now, Porcelain is up 1-0. They need to beat that 4K1 result with a 4K2 in order to get the victory. And Contra right off the bat playing it pretty similarly, does have that 4-gen at the top and is going to be playing around the bottom side here, going to be playing for a tag onto Heck. And Heck very smartly not going to be touching that pallet until the last possible second. That will be an infection though, and Contra might be willing to just leave that, and exactly that is going to happen. Contra's going to go back towards pressuring that top side of the map. Going to be getting that infection on these generators and looking for any rotations. But with that distance, that was quite a bit of time for Heck to call out to the survivors and let them get those rotations off. Contra going to be trying to get some sort of mind game on the survivor in the area, and we do actually see question mark Guy playing around the main building, and we have a God Rock filler right here on the center of the map, and Contra going to be playing around that, going to be forcing that drop. And it also forces question mark Guy towards the top side of the map, which leaves him in this 4-gen area if that down were to come through. Contra, though, not quite going to be getting that hit. We still have that pallet downed as well, and Contra refuses to break it. Is going to be chasing them down towards the bottom side of the map. Bloodlust 1 kicking in, going to be getting a little bit of distance on here, but the pallet is right there, going to be forcing that drop. Contra going to be playing around Bloodlust, going to not quite get that hit. Very good attempt. Meanwhile, that top side generator is going to pop, breaking that 4-gen. But Contra still going for the first down of the game, going to be getting a little bit of a window mind game going. But question mark Guy playing this phenomenally, not going to actually fall for that, and running straight down towards the bottom side of the map away from that 4-gen. And right now, the survivors are doing an amazing job. They are pre-leaving exactly when they need to. Contra forced to come back up here, get that eruption procced onto that generator. And Contra not quite where he needs to be. With one generator down, the 4-gen broken, and no downs. That is going to be an injured survivor found in the area. A bit of a block coming through from the hill, but that is going to be Heck. And we do have an ambitious puke going to be coming out, not quite going to hit Heck, but Heck is playing around this water tower extremely well, getting that important distance. Meanwhile, kind of, very well played, hiding behind that pallet, not quite going to let that corrupted purge hit. And is just playing this extremely well. That is going to be the down, though. Very good play from Contra, throwing that corrupted purge over the pallet. And Heck playing a little bit too unsafe there, throwing that pallet a bit early. However, we do see Contra choosing to hook in the middle of this 3-gen yet again. But another generator on the top side actually popping, leaving the 3-gen on the bottom actually the more viable 3-gen option. But this other top side gen has quite a bit of progress as well. That will be the pop and eruption applied to that generator though, but a bottom side gen popping as well. And that's going to be devastating for Contra, who doesn't even have all the survivors infected. Contra not able to pressure this generator and this hook. That is going to be the unhook coming through. And Contra actually going for the infection onto Rezi, going to now swap over to Heck, but Heck does have that balanced landing, which will proc on that drop down. Contra playing around this rather unsafe tile, but Heck very smartly moves over towards the other tile And Contra's actually leaving the tunnel out chases and is going towards this bottom side gen, and that's actually going to pop. The firecracker coming through. We do see some flashlights coming through from Question Mark Guy, who had an incredible chase so far. And Contra not able to quite get the pressure that he needs in order to get. Oh my goodness! He got hit from the side door of the locker there. That is incredible. A bit of a drop coming through. A firecracker as well onto Contra. And Contra just not quite able to get the necessary downs in order to pressure anything more. Is just going for the chase onto Rezi. Rezi not going to go for the window vault. Instead is going to be picked out of the locker. But at this point, the survivors for Dirty Mike and the boys have to be okay with this, because there is the last gen. I was just about to say we should see it popping any second now. But right now, we still have Pallet, who is not injured, not infected, who could go for, excuse me, sorry, could go for some sort of save. Contra finding that locker that Rezi was in earlier and mistakenly checks it. But it does look like our survivors are in the exit gate, just crouching, you know, doing their thing, dancing around like they're in Fortnite. Meanwhile, a pretty good body block coming through, but does not actually go for Rezi instead. Contra, once the fresh stages, is going to get quite a bit of puke on to... Oh my goodness. An incredible body block coming through from Heck, who cleansed at the last second. Actually going to lead to Contra only getting 2 stages total. Very well played from Dirty Mike and the boys, going for their moonwalks in the exit gate. And they will wind up taking the plague set, leading us to our tiebreaker. So please stick around for that. We will be back momentarily. Welcome everybody to Auric League. We are not here with the game because they had to reset for some reason. We will be back. Sorry. Hello, we are back with Auric League. This time we are sure to see a clown game because we are here with Smokey's signature pick playing for Team Porcelain in the tiebreaker up against Dirty Mike and the boys on the survivors. And Smokey going to be patrolling the area as the Kenneth, looking around for any survivors that he can spot. Very interesting build that we see, by the way. One thing to note that we do not have a corrupt in play, which is going to be extremely difficult for Smokey to keep up the pressure because the survivors, they don't really necessarily have to rotate, they just kind of have to stealth a little bit more than normal. And right now they are doing an excellent job of that. Smokey, unable to find a survivor until now, is actually going to spot the pallet tour guide going straight towards that crane pallet. And a bit of a fake there from Smokey, going to lead to a tag on one of the safest pallets in the game. Extremely well played from Smokey here, going to be leading towards the 3 side of the map. Some slowdown coming through. Smokey just using these bottles like crazy, going for a mind game. Oh my goodness! Another reload fake going to lead to a down. And that's a very quick down for a clown set. We are going to see a pallet save, though. Very crucial for Dirty Mike and the boys to get that off because that down came super quickly. And right now we do see that Smokey is out of bottles, going to be zoning pallet tour guide away from the other side of the map. And Pallet not going to fall for it, but we do actually see the speed bottle in play, and that's going to be a lot of distance. However, the body block coming through from Question Mark Guy going to allow Pallet to get a lot of distance towards the top side of the map, towards that pop generator. And Smokey not quite able to get another down. The Shack Pallet will be thrown as the blind comes through. And that is going to be Rezi trying to assist his teammate from going down as well. A bottle throw going to happen. Very well played from Smokey, and that's going to lead to a down. Not quite on the pallet. Can he pick him up? No, before the pallet. Is the save going to come through? No, we do not see a save, but unfortunately for Pallet, since he was trying to play for survival and nothing more, that is going to be a basement hook, which is going to be devastating for the survivors. And Smokey so far has shown quite the prowess on this clown with a pretty quick down into a save, of course, but still. And has a down at 4 generators, and we do see a lot of progress coming through here, but does actually catch the rotation from Heck on that Shack pallet. Meanwhile, that generator down at 4 is going to pop, and the survivors, they want to pressure this unhook, but because of the hook's positioning, it's going to be a tough one. And right now it does look like Smokey is going to be protecting the totem that is up, and that is going to be the new Dracula totem. I don't remember what it's called. I didn't do my homework as a caster. I apologize, but it does slow down the Obsession's generator speed. And what do you know, Rezi, the Obsession is going to be up and doing generators. So very interesting use of the perk there. And Smokey's just going to be pressuring the survivors off the generators here with those smoke bottles, trying to get Pallet to go to second before going and pressuring that gen. And it does look like that second stage is going to be confirmed. Smokey going to be playing for the tag here. And very well played. Going to be getting that tag onto Heck and going straight back towards the generators over on the other side of the map. Is going to find Question Mark Guy working this generator, forcing him away. But the save is still not coming through onto Pallet. The survivors are doing a very good job of delaying this pull. They said, if you want to get that pressure on that hook, then go for it. We're going to milk it for every second that it's worth. Smokey not quite going to get that bottle throw, but is going to catch out the rotation. That is going to be Rezi going for the save, and not quite there in order to protect it. And Smokey just lining the streaks up with, oh, and a very good body block onto Pallet. Actually going to secure the down. Very well played from Smokey, just stopping Rezi from getting the body block in time due to those smoke bottles. And a tunnel out at 2 generators for a clown is incredible. And we do have quite a bit of progress over here, but Smokey's going to be pushing the survivor off that generator and trying to get as much regression going as possible. Going to be looking for the survivor in the area. Porcelain, they have to be happy with this killer result so far. Clown, not the strongest killer. Usually you can expect about 6 stages, and Smokey has already secured 3 stages with 2 generators remaining. And we do see a chase coming through here as well, with Heck still injured. Going to be buying quite a bit of time. Going to be getting that pallet drop and zoning this survivor into the corner, using the power of the slowdown bottles to prevent them from getting too much distance. And that is going to be a tag onto Question Mark Guy. Meanwhile, Heck was reset, but it does look like Question Mark Guy is running straight towards the middle here, going to be trying to play around Shack. A good mind game from Smokey, but it does look like Question Mark Guy is just going to go for the gold and try to get as much distance as possible. Smokey choosing to just reload and go and try to pressure these generators. Dirty Mike and the boys have a pretty good gen split, but that is going to be Rezi found at this tile. That generator is finally going to pop across the map, and Smokey actually just trying to pressure rather than get a tag. Going to be using the speed up bottles to try to accelerate towards question mark guy, who is injured and does not have the strongest tile here. That is going to be a down. Very well played from Smokey using that speed up. And no threat of a save due to the forced hesitation coming through. Smokey is going to be carrying them straight towards the top side here with this generator at the crane. Not sure if it has any percentage, but Smokey's going to choose to not pressure it and instead is looking for the rotations. Does find one survivor coming through for a rotation on the save, is going to cut them off, but goes back to the hook rather than pressures that survivor any. If they did pressure that survivor, I think it would force Dirty Mike and the boys to rotate for the save and get off the generator. But now it looks like Smokey's instead choosing to pressure the generator instead. Quite a bit of progress over here, but that does secure the save. And we do seem to be... I'm sorry, y'all. It was lagging for a bit there, but we are going to see Smokey playing around the speed, getting the pallet break as well as the speed up to make that gap closer. That's going to be a tag onto Heck. Meanwhile, the reset is going to come through on the question mark guy. And now we're going to see whether Smokey can play around this truck tile. A bit of a reload fake, yet again catching the survivors off guard. That has been the tool in Smokey's tool belt that has gotten a lot of value here. Rezi going to be taking a hit for his teammate, trying to secure as much distance as possible. And Smokey going for a reload on the bottles, trying to get that slowdown working. Is going to just break this pallet. But that is quite a bit of distance from Heck there. And Smokey's forced to leave, going towards that 3 side. And we do actually see the generator pop. But we do have a bit of a fun perk in play. That is going to be the NOED on the map. And with Smokey, with the speed up bottles and the haste from NOED, that's going to be a dangerous Kenneth running around the map. But the survivors were already positioned on the gates to where it doesn't even matter that that NOED was in play. Very good positioning from our survivors here. That is going to be the survivors getting out, and I believe that is still going to be a 6-stage game at the end of the day. We do see some humps coming through from Smokey. Question mark guys just sitting there and taking it. And the Mori. Not actually sure if that's allowed, but we're going to see Kenneth, eat a snack and secure the 6 stages for Porcelain. So now we're going to have to see whether Dirty Mike and the boys is able to match or beat that in order to get the dub. So please stay tuned. Thank you for watching. We will be back. Hello, everybody. Welcome back to Auric League. We are here in the tiebreaker where Smokey on the signature clown pick was able to get 6 stages up against Dirty Mike and the boys survivors. Now we're going to see if Heck for Dirty Mike and the boys is going to be able to beat that result. And right off the bat, Heck is saying that they are laughing no more because that is a pretty quick tag on to Bucket Man. Bucket Man's going to be running up towards the top side of the map. Heck kind of missing the bottles at first, but does manage to land that one. And we are going to see Bucket Man go down under this pallet. Is going to be waving, signaling to Heck that there could be survivors in the area, and that is going to be Tippy, who is found almost immediately stealthing for the save. And it looks like Heck wants even more than that. Is actually going to go for the pickup though. Oh, but Heck does actually call that out and is going to get a tag onto CEO as well. That's 2 tags onto survivors playing for the save. Is there going to be a third? We do see CEO still pressuring it, and Heck is just throwing bottles, trying to get him out of the area. CEO going to be playing around this modified 4-lane, playing it extremely well. And Heck lags out. Oh, what the heck? All right, we are back, I guess. Unfortunately for Heck, that lag out is going to cost him, and that's going to be a pickup on to Bucket Man. We do have 3 injuries on the board, but that is going to be a down, just negated completely. And Bucket Man pathing right into Heck, going to be picked up right under the school bus pallet. No save in sight, but Bucket Man must have felt bad for him lagging out. That's going to be a down pretty quickly after that pickup. And Heck is going to get the hook right here in the middle of all these generators that have progress. This 3-side generator with Contra working it is Contra's going to be pushed off and forced away. The slowdown bottles coming through. No pallet in sight to play. And that's going to be a tag. And now with all 3 survivors injured, I was going to say this unhook has to happen now or never, because that's going to be incredibly important for the survivors. But that will be a down onto Tippy. Tippy kind of being caught out on that pallet. Meanwhile, they're just rushing this generator and throwing the shack pallet. I don't believe my eyes, folks. This is an interesting game. All the survivors are found, and Heck is just throwing bottles left and right, and oh my goodness, gets the disgusting hit right through the pallet. You know Heck is just kicking his router every time he swings. That is disgusting. But because of that, we are going to see the slug get picked up and Contra put on the hook. And now Heck is going to have to pressure this generator as well as this 3 generator. Heck doing a good job, trying not to spread himself too thin on the pressure, but is just standing here right in arm's reach of either the hook or the gen. And this is buying so much time and getting rid of so much gen progress at the same time. Meanwhile, we do actually see the injured CEO working this generator over here. Very risky play, knowing how quickly Clown can get downs if you're in a dead zone. And it looks like he's just going and pressuring these generators as much as possible with Contra on this hook right in the middle of them. And this death spot is just super unfortunate for our survivors. They are just working these generators, trying to pressure Heck away from that hook. But it does look like Contra is going to be secured and going second. Meanwhile, that shack generator will pop. But this 3-side generator is now free to be pressured by Heck, and it looks like Heck might pressure it after this second stage is confirmed. And we do see the rotation away. CEO read that like a book, is going to be getting out of there and just making as much distance towards the center of the map as possible. Very good bottle throw, going to be cutting him off, and that is going to be a pallet drop right on Heck's head. But Heck is still content just securing this. I mean, where the generators are at with 4 generators remaining, This is going to be very hard on the survivors. The down does come through. That is not going to be a forced locker pull. And now Contra is in trouble on Death Hook at 4 generators. An earlier tunnel out than we saw last game. Heck is playing this incredibly. And the pickup is going to come through, securing a 4th hook state for Heck. Heck only needs 2 more hook states to go, because I believe that would be a fresh hook victory if the results were to get tied up on stages. But Heck is going to be throwing bottles, interrupting the rotations, just trying to get as much pressure going as possible. Meanwhile, the survivors have done a pretty good job recovering from that rocky start. The gen split is pretty decent, and Heck is kind of tethered towards this 3-side generator in order to deny progress. But at the same time, they are not resetting. They are all injured, which makes things much more difficult when you have a killer like Clown that can just deny chases where there are no resources. Very good fake coming through from Heck, and a good read onto CEO, just playing around this pallet. Very good fake there, and CEO doing an amazing job around that filler. Is going to be slowed down around this pallet gym, but does make this jungle gym instead. And that's going to be the tag onto Tippy, who's freshly healed, with Contra also healed on the tunnel out. The vault coming through, and a bit of a slow vault going to lead to a down. Unfortunate for Tippy there. The pickup coming through, and that's going to be the 5th stage for Heck. We are not going to see a sneaky flashbang save coming through from Bucket Man. But Bucket Man is now in trouble and might just hand deliver that 6th and final hook stage for Heck in order to secure the victory for Dirty Mike and the boys. There it is, the 6th stage. With all 4 fresh hooks, that will be the victory for Dirty Mike and the boys. And we still have 3 generators to go after the victory was secured. We are going to see some loud noise notifications across the map. And it does look like, oh, a bit of, oh, excuse me. Oh, goodness, it's late. We do see a bit of validation coming through. CEO just barely avoiding that grab and doing a good job here, just not getting hit through these pallet swings. Heck must be extremely confused by this. I don't think he's ever missed a swing through a pallet. But CEO is managing to do just that in these chases. This 3-side generator is going to pop, and the survivors are likely going to be running straight away from there, trying to get their distance. But Heck is actually checking the lockers, and the stun doesn't come through on that one. That is going to be a miss, though. Heck going to not quite make that swing, and Bucket Man playing around this pallet very sneakily. But the hit is still going to come through. A pick up onto Bucket Man, securing that victory even more so with that 7th stage. While another gen pops across the map. And that's going to be a death. The first death here. There was no tunnel out in this match. That was the first death for Porcelain. And there's the final gen going to pop. Tippy going to be vaulting right into Heck and revealing that no-ed. And Heck is going to be running around with that haste and the haste bottles, trying to get even more downs, even more stages. And Contra, who is healthy, is right here, going to be trying to body block for his teammate. Only one of them can get out, and that's going to be CEO at the exit gate, going to be going for some sort of... No, never mind. But yeah, Heck playing this extremely well, just showing the power of Clown if you play too altruistically and get caught. Very good plays on the early game. Bucket Man, unfortunately, just going down a little bit too quick to where the survivors had to play so risky. And now Tippy, bleeding out on the ground, is getting the mega nodders, the super slow nodders. And then the Mori on top. We're going to see Kenneth get another treat right before Dirty Mike and the boys claim their victory 2-1. Super well played from both sides. Porcelain having an amazing showing, and Dirty Mike and the boys taking the win. Thank you all for watching. This has been a viewing pleasure. I am your caster, Tyro. This is the Auric League, and we will see you next time. Thank you.